Welcome to We All Eat. Hamza, you've been here before on the first episode. That's not out yet, but it will be hopefully by the time this is out.
Go in order, my guy. Yeah, I think that should be out before.
The reason why I decided to create this podcast, Max, is because I feel like I have a lot of cool people that I'm like constantly around, and you know, I just wanted to shed light on that because I think we all have like cool stories to tell and like where we've been, and then it could inspire other people who want to get into this world. So I'm trying to like talk to creatives across across the board, from music, film, the whole nine. And then you're the first person I thought of because you're doing some cool shit right out of school.
That means so much, brother. You have no idea. Like, and now it's just sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. Say what you want to say.
To be like in one of the first two episodes is an honor, dude, because like being a part of your journey, it's just super special, and I can see what you're building here, and it's exciting to be a part of it, and it's exciting that you're supporting me in the midst of all of it. You know what I mean? And
that's the whole point of this, really, is just to support each other and not be gatekeepers. That's why it's called We All Eat, because at the end of the day, I want us to all be put on, and there's enough money out there for everyone. I told you to bring some food to make it a little more literal. But because on our first episode, we were eating pizza halfway through the fucking episode. So
I was hungry. I was hungry.
I got some chips, bro. I'm sure that's gonna sound so good, but here we go.
You could spin off of that every episode. Like, have something crazy to eat. I don't know, or as more episodes come in, I don't know. Just
the first ASMR podcast.
Bro, you could start doing these in restaurants. Like, you don't know what direction it could go. I could go in any direction.
Literally, I'm rolling with the punches right here. I'm just going with it, you know, wherever it takes me.
What if you open the podcast up with us just like, it's just quiet, and it's just like, and it's just boom, we all eat, and then we jump in.
Actually, at Max, I love that because I like still haven't decided on how I want to do the intro or like music wise. Yeah, and I'm actually digging that, so I might run with that a little bit.
Hey, grab my attention, bro. Some crunches.
But
we all eat.
So Hamza, basically to shed light on who Max is. Me and Max went to school together. We went to Full Sail University.
Nice.
We talked about that a little bit in the first episode about how it has mixed reviews, but we'll get to that later. But Max ended up interning for the Buccaneers right out of college, winning a fucking Super Bowl. And now he's working with the Houston Rockets as their video producer full time. So he's doing some pretty cool shit.
That's amazing, dude.
Yes, dude. First of all, I'm very blessed. Very blessed. I don't know how it really panned out in exactly the way it needed to pan out and to make me to get where I am today. So I don't even know what spit to say till to this day. It doesn't even feel like it happened for real, but I'm speechless.
Well, yeah, you kind of hit like my first question was like, did you expect that right out of college?
No,
I don't think I didn't expect that. I didn't even know what was going to happen.
I have so many questions.
Like this is the thing. I feel like on paper and out on social media, it looks like I was just like, boom, like you're the luckiest dude in the world. Like this just happened and just fell into place. But behind the scenes, I'm like applying to 200 jobs. I'm applying to places I don't even know where I'm applying to because I didn't know my worth, you know? And, you know, when you stick back to the basics and you just really use the resources around you, it puts you where you need to be, you know? Example A, right where we are today. You know what I mean? Like we have a great connection. We have great networking. We have great creatives around us to inspire us. And here we are today making something special, right? So I don't mean to go too deep into it. I don't know if you want to go into it now, but how I ended up working in sports, you know, it was just, it was crazy.
Bro, it goes deep. I'm like in it for the ride. Anthony Vasso knows. Like I like fry questions.
A little more of a like background on Max too. Like Max was mainly doing photos when we were in school too. Like he wasn't doing a lot of shooting, funny enough.
Awesome.
And he was like, he's super good at photos.
Stop it. Stop it.
What you need, I think you need to dive back into that a little bit more, but that's a whole nother story, like conversation.
Hey,
Um,
we're about to though. You know what's coming in the mail. I don't know when. First of all, the Fuji X100 VX6.
oh, you just
Dude,
bought it?
I'm backordered for like freaking months. It's killing me. It's killing me because I'm like so hungry to like get going, and
Gotcha.
I'm like, I have no update at all anywhere. Like
Gotcha.
they can only make 15,000 units a month, and there are 500,000 people who order this camera and counting. And I'm like,
That's
I
insane.
pre-ordered on the third day, so I'm like, hello, you know?
Oh, yeah, you messed up there, man. You messed up by waiting
Yeah.
3 days.
So that's fucking crazy that they're that fucking back ordered.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's insane. But that's sick that you bought one because that's like I need to see some more Max photos. Like
Oh,
the
thanks,
I'm
bro.
hyped, dude. I'm hyped. Well,
You
you're gonna be
guys are
posting all
so
everyone's
cool.
Instagram.
don't let Hamza like fool you. He's a fucking genius too. Like he's sick
Nah,
with the
bro.
photos and video.
No.
This man could do everything.
Everything,
From
literally everything.
from
Like,
three.
when have you
Dude,
heard someone
dude.
doing everything? Like, clearly, like
I
the
mean,
words
like
he's
I mean,
using are insane.
you're good at 3D. You're good at After Effects. Like, there's not a lot of people like you that, especially that are self-trained. For as far like you haven't really been doing this that long, Hamza. So
No,
I
I
would
haven't.
just
I
pat
mean, it's
yourself on the back for it.
different skill set. I mean, for context, I used to be a chemist, so I'm
Oh my gosh, this guy's
I'm a
cooking
nerd at
like.
heart. Cooking meth, bro. Yeah, I wish I was.
Oh my.
That was a joke for anyone who decides to imagine like that one thing that gets viral is like, oh, this videographer talks about cooking meth, and anyway, my mind's going off. So by nature, I was always like I got really nerdy into the sciences of it. So for me, like getting stuck in a rabbit hole online about a topic is like second nature. So I let my mind sometimes carry me too far into certain areas, but sometimes it works where then you just grow a skill set and get to meet
I
people.
mean, I
So
think
it's
that
fun.
worked out pretty well for you because
I'd say so, man. But again, I think there's so many different directions it could have gone in life. So I'd be foolish to think that like there isn't a like universal force that kind of like pulled me in one direction, right? And I mean, there's questions I have like for you too, Max, because you gave me the impression of like you have a lot of humility, and you even use the word luck too to get to where you were, but you also know um, like it's not really luck, but it also kind of is, right?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I'm
Yeah.
gonna let Basso. You can take it back from me.
I mean, you said it yourself. Like, Max is a super hard worker.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done like a few things that's in school together. I mean, a little outside of school, but in school as well. But yeah, he's like, I mean, I think a lot of people that actually came out of our class were hard workers, and a lot of them are like doing some cool stuff. So,
Right.
but yeah, like Max is super hard worker. I mean, like, if you want to talk a little bit more how like the whole Buccaneers situation happened right out of school, I would love to hear more about that. I feel like we've talked about it, but we never really talked about it. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, man, dude. I mean, and first of all, Hamza, to say your camera, I can't get over your framing right now and your setup, dude. I'm looking like it's my actual first podcast, like it is. But
Nah, dude, you got the color coordination right. You got the blue wall, the white. You
I
got a nice
tried.
gray in the middle. Listen,
I tried. Shout
I
out
think
my
you're
girlfriend
just
for
trying
the
to be humble.
flowers, and she picked this out. So come on, she
yeah,
really made the set.
check out my wall.
If that works.
But
I haven't had a chance to decorate my office. But anyways, continue,
right,
Max.
yes. Then not get too off topic. But anyways, like I said, so we were in the same place, same time. We were graduating. It was December, like 2019, I want to say, and I was running around like a headless chicken. I'm like, where am I gonna end up? Like it's getting real. I gotta go live on my own. Like I'm gotta find a place to live. Like where am I gonna end up? Like I was shooting for the stars everywhere. I was like Netflix, messaging Netflix people. I never even knew what I was doing. I was looking at producer jobs at Netflix and not realizing it's like the top of the top. It's just trying to like just see where I belonged, right? But I knew deep down inside I've always loved sports. Like, I my teacher from high school. This is kind of crazy. My teacher from high school, he's my journalism teacher. He used to shoot for the Buccaneers, the Rays, the USF Bulls, the Lightning. He was a photographer, and he had a great reputation. And I guess we'll talk about this later again too, of how much that means to like networking, obviously being a good person. But he always kept a good rep. He made a name for himself. He was always through generations of like workers in all these organizations. He's built connections. So one day it was like, I want to say a couple days after graduation, Anthony,
No.
and like,
Pause.
oh, is it me?
Wait,
No.
Yeah, no, you're back.
Okay,
You're back. You're good.
You're
Hold
back.
on. Let me make sure I'm on Wi-Fi.
Literally worst
Sorry.
timing. Like, so
I
then
know, like.
There we go. Is it better?
Yeah, you're good.
yeah.
See, dude, first time, dude. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get this knocked down. Anyways, am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. Okay.
Continue.
Anyways, he messages me and he goes, "Okay, hey man, like, I see you've really been taking it serious. I've worked to build my mini brand throughout college. Always tried to freelance, even outside of class, even outside of like extracurricular class activities. And I think people sort of noticed that. And I think I was really making a name for myself, and I didn't even realize I was. So, there was a really, really random opportunity that came up. This was my end. It wasn't shooting the athletes. It wasn't shooting, events. It wasn't shooting like fans. It was like an experimental kind of photo shoot kind of thing. It was kind of like to see fan engagement inside the arena. And I had to document that. It was a really simple, but if I can handle that, simple things, you really need to treat it the same way as you would treat a Netflix production movie, right? Everything needs to be treated the same way. So I did, I started to make the connections there. The person who hired me was a production manager. He's amazing. He's Jason Turner. He was like my work dad over there. He really helped me, mentor me, and like tell me what to do, what not to do, really set me up and push me out of my comfort zone to help me grow. And, as we talked and after the gig kind of ended, he was like, "Hey man, so where are you at right now? Like, what's your story? Where are you at?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm about to graduate." He goes, "Well, we have an internship coming up." And I was like, whoa, like that was a sign, like right in front of my face. And so I kind of like was like, I don't know. I don't think I'll get, I don't think I'll get picked or anything. So I don't really like stress enough to apply right away. Plus I didn't know where to look, right? That was the first thing. And I get an email and it's like, "Hey, did you apply yet?" And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, no." And so I did right away. And a couple weeks later, boom, the internship happened. And I got it. And with these, there's tons and tons and tons and tons of people who apply, and I didn't realize until then. But like some jobs I had applied for, there was like 600 people, and like it was just insane. And so, that being said, I got a good, I got a very good reference and word from my guy Carlson. His name's Carlson. He was just the photographer. He put a really good word in for me, and it really like put me like on top, right? So when I say like connections are so important and like being a good person, like you could be the most talented person in the world, but if you're not fun to work with and you're not hungry and you have an ego, like it's gonna put you right under here. Like people want to work with good, hardworking people who are gonna push you to be a better person, not like somebody's going to be like, "Hey, you stay down here," right? Like it's just be humble, be a sponge, and like, you're going to end up in the right place. So,
I mean,
yeah.
I think you got super lucky too, because like we graduated right before the fucking pandemic.
Yes.
So that's another thing, right? Because like I struggled when I got back to New York from Florida. I mean, lucky enough, I was able to like work with people like the guy from World Star and do those things like music videos here and there and stuff like that, and then eventually get onto television productions. But it was rough. I mean, like you were blessed to get that right before the pandemic.
When I look at it in retrospect, I was like, oh my gosh, like my people are still in college, and like we also got lucky too because we graduated in 2 years. Like it really, like even from day one, starting and investing myself into this industry, it's like timing was everything, and gosh, and that was a whole nother thing of like working my first job in COVID, and as an intern and having to prove myself while seeing people and not seeing people and not shooting anything. And like, it was a whole nother way of proving myself because like you couldn't really see. I'm editing press conferences. It wasn't doing anything fun right away. You know what I mean? And it was fun, but like I said back again, like when you can handle and kill it on something so simple as press conferences or a simple photo shoot, those habits come a long way because now today when I'm working on, you know, intros for the Houston Rockets videos, like I'm treating that the same way I would treat something else. So, you know, these small habits go a long way.
I mean, yeah, we saw a lot of that in school, even where a lot of people in school, like, they would push back at the professors on things, and it's like, well, why are you here then? Like, you're here to learn. So, like, if they're telling you something, they're telling you for a reason.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I could see that like affecting a lot of people coming out of that school because there was a lot of people who were very cocky,
Yeah.
who thought they were the best, but they only worked on school productions. And I think that's another great thing you did outside of school is, I mean, I always preach this to everyone, but no one ever listened. Like, yes, the school productions are great,
Hmm.
but you got to get out and do stuff outside of school. But
Yeah.
I think what's even crazier is like I got to work with Jameis Winston too,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I thought that was super. I thought that was super cool. And then you get the gig, and then
Yes.
you have, and then you have Brady and Gronk. Like you had them come back. Like when you heard they were coming, like did that, like how
Dude,
that, like that must have been crazy.
first of all,
Because he
like
came out of retirement, right? To come
yeah.
back.
Well,
Yeah. He retired
he
like twice, I
he
think.
retired after. I don't think he retired essentially, but he basically like you see Kobe and you see Jeter and you see these guys who've been with organizations for so long, and you're like, they're never gonna leave. They're never gonna leave. They built a dynasty. They built this and that. So first of all, I was like, why would he come to Florida? But there was that small chance that hit. That was like, hey, this is retirement city right here, baby. Like, come on over. Like he had it all planned out, I think, and you know, it was like I can't even begin to think. But I'll get into this. The craziest thing about all this happening, basically, like when he signed, I was like, you can almost feel it in your body. You're like, whoa, our lives are about to change forever. Because you could even tell before it even happened that this organization was going to be flipped around. My life was going to be flipped around. But the new epitome of success was up here instead of right here, right? Because his aura that he has of like working so hard and being the best of the best is like contagious, like um I didn't get to like really be with him a lot, but his like I said, his energy being inside that building when I showed up every day, I was like, hell yeah, like we're gonna make something cool. All eyes are on us. The entire world is who watches NFL is watching this team right now because they're either doubting us, they're either rooting for us, they're even like, questioning like what's going on here. And the story came true, but we never really talked about it. We treated it the same way we would have when he wasn't there, and
Yeah.
that's the way to handle it, I think, you know. But
Yeah.
I don't know if that answered the question, but I go on a
No, you
rambling.
did.
If I
You did.
ramble,
You,
boys,
No, the ramble. I'm enjoying this. Like
dude,
you got a lot of
because I
passion in what you're talking about, and it's
you,
really nice to see.
you guys are great
and like
listeners.
I said, like I haven't really gotten to talk to you about this fully. Like we never really dove into it, right? And I never really got to hear about your experiences. And what's even crazier is about that you guys ended up fucking winning a Super Bowl. And then I
Yeah.
saw that they gave you a ring, which is insane.
Yes.
That's,
I'll have to show you it. I have it over here on the table. Well, listen to this. This is maybe we don't put this in the podcast, maybe we do, but basically, so I was an intern, right? Like we'd have got paid the minimum, obviously. So when they sent the emails out, maybe don't put this in the podcast, but basically, I have a ring, but it's like a replica because the actual rings they made the employees pay for them, so they didn't kind of let the interns like get them because they're obviously like $5,000. So it was like that would have been my whole salary
no,
that I
but
made
I mean,
like working there.
but replica or not, I mean that's still like a dope thing to have to be like I was there for this.
Yeah.
And do you think
Yeah.
that helped you get onto the Rockets essentially? Them winning the
Honestly,
Super Bowl necessarily, not just working with them. Obviously that helps, but do you
yeah,
think them winning the Super Bowl put you like a little bit higher when you like interviewed with the Rockets?
absolutely. I think it really did help. I mean, either way. when you're in the sports industry and when you're in the music video industry, when you're in any industry, I think once you're in, right? It's what you make of it. It definitely probably helped me stand out a little bit because of the playoff experience and the championship caliber, like, training. I think it did help, but nobody ever really says, like, they like to say, like, hey, he's been to the Super Bowl and stuff like that, but like nobody really is like, you know, stamps it on my head, I guess that you could say, you know, I think when that time comes and it's time for NBA championship, like it'll be like, okay, remember Max did this, I think it'll come up again. But yeah, I like I said, every time I've joined a new little thing, I don't have an ego. I just walk in and what's been built already is built and I have to reprove myself again and again, so I don't like to be like, I've done this or that, you know what I mean?
How many years have you been doing this for?
This is like, I guess like the sense of the moment I picked up a camera, 2017, 2016, I want to say 7 years or so. Yeah.
Now,
how about you? Hamza?
Around like 28, high school is when I was really into it. 2018 is when I started considering actually taking a leap of faith. But the question I want to ask you is, you have this common theme of needing to prove yourself or always looking at each opportunity as if this is the opportunity. Are you giving me like the whole, I'm going to bring my best in every single thing, no matter what it is, because you see how that translates over into future things. So you've been doing this now for close to like eight years with that same attitude. Where did that come from?
That's a great question, dude. Wow, you guys are great. You guys are good at this. I'll tell you that for sure. Like,
this is only our second one, if you didn't notice.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait till episode 500 right here, boys. Put that back in episode 500. But anyways, what makes me kind of have that attitude? You basically asking? I mean, first of all, I want to be humble. I know that there's so many people out there who inspire me. Like, I don't think I'm ever gonna be the best of the best. I want to be the best of the best, right? And I want to handle that, right? But I think dang, that's such a good question. I'm trying to like think of how to answer it.
I mean, I feel like I met your mom, I met your family and stuff, and like I just feel like it's just how you were raised, really. I mean,
yeah,
we're very much alike in that. Like, you're a very humble person. You've always been, and I think that's why we always got along, because like, we could joke around with each other. Like, we had like fun. Like, we had fun doing whatever we were doing. We didn't take things like super serious. And there's not a lot of people like I could say that like I've connected with like that. And I mean, I think it's like back to like how you were raised. If I had to guess,
I agree. My family really did. Like every opportunity, give it 100% and just work hard like that. My mom still to this day works until it's like 11:30 at night, and she gets there at 9, and I'm like, I don't want that for her. I want her to enjoy her life. But it's like, honestly, like when I see that, I'm surrounded by that. Even to this day, it's like you're just ingrained in grinding and wanting to do better. And it's a hard thing. I feel like even you guys probably experience this. It's like, what's next? What's next? What's next? Like, how can we get better? How can we grow? What new thing can we bring to the table, right? How can we rebrand ourselves? How can we, you know what I mean? But I think, you get so lost into that and you're like, whoa, we've already accomplished this much. Like, we're here today because of, we worked that hard and we met all these people and we have all these things. And, that's another reason why I think I go into every shoot and every, hire. And I'm like, all right, let's treat this like it's the first one. Okay.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
I mean, it's one of those like crazy, one of those things that most people don't have, but I think it's when I see people, right? And because like by nature of how we started in all of this, there was no network of photographers or videographers. It was, you met who you met. And so off the cuff, you have to determine like, is this the type of person you want to spend more time working with, like developing a relationship with? And there's a few telltale signs. And one of the telltale signs is just the humility and drive that a person has. So I ask that because I admire that quality a lot, and I see that you have that, and it's just really nice to see. Like I'm
Thank you,
excited
guys.
more just to even get to meet you. I had no idea how cool of an individual you were, so this is awesome.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Hey,
I wanted to say before, I was like, I think if us three created something, people won't even be ready for
I agree, dude. Look, and Hamza, I know I just met you, but you make me feel like I can express myself in a comfortable way. You're a great listener, and Anthony, we're homies, dude. Like
Yeah.
we get along just so great. And Anthony and I will always, hey, when it's project time, it's like, hey, I want Anthony on my team. Like we're coming over here, bro.
Well,
We know we
yeah,
work great together, right? He's such a great person to work with, right? But
boss is amazing.
like to add a little bit onto that mindset of treating everything like it's your first time, or just like being hungry and like working hard like it's your last, like it could be your last sometimes. But also, like, a thing that I like to stress to other creatives who I want to help, like the versatility of, working with weddings or sports or documentary or a TV show or commercial, any of that stuff, right? Like, you may think that this is going to be so different than this one, but all of it is, it's just a formula. And like each person is going to bring a new perspective to you. Like, like right now, like on the side, like I work with Make a Wish, and I
Yeah,
do those stories every single day, and like learning to work with their organization and their clientele and their team is so different than the fast paced, speedy like Rockets Houston Rockets season, right? Where
yeah,
it's like, hey, one day it's Friday and we play the Lakers, and then Saturday we play the Golden State Warriors, and we're on to the next, and we're on to the next, And sometimes each of these organizations can bring a new perspective and add to your toolkit to, you know, make you ready for any moment, and like they all teach me something, you know what I mean?
Are you
If that
still
makes
doing,
sense.
sorry, are you still doing like freelancing with the NFL too? Because I know you were doing that. Are you still doing that too?
Yeah, and honestly, like I don't post enough, nearly half of the stuff I need to, because like I try to stay loyal to like my brand that I like, who gives me a living and puts a roof over my head. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
you know, the NFL is really, really, really cool. It's very niche, first of all. That one was crazy. I've always seen people doing the filming on the football fields and do whatever they want, and I'm like, whoa, like how do you even do that? Like, back to the network thing. It's like it came down to somebody's Instagram story, and that's how I got this job of freelancing for the NFL. Um, I'm essentially like part time with them, and what I do is, and I go film the football games or kind of anything one off. Like last week was the draft, and right after I'm done with my job at the Houston Rockets, I got my butt over to the house of one of the draftees and filmed him until 11:30 at night until he got drafted. So it's a grind still to this day, as we were grinding before we even got to where we wanted to be. Like
Yeah.
it's consistently, it's nonstop. But yeah,
Cool.
that one's special.
That's cool though. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always thought about getting into sports, but first of all, I don't have the portfolio for it, and
Oh,
I'm already
hey,
going.
don't even say that. Don't say that right now. Don't even say that. Because you know why? I didn't have a portfolio, dude. I didn't have one. Like, and sometimes the thing I did appreciate about our school is that we didn't have anything, but we were forced to make something out of nothing.
Mhm.
Like, you
Yeah,
know, what you're doing right now is creating something and a whole new thing like that. You didn't have a podcast before. You've got to start
that's
somewhere.
true. I'm
You
gonna
got to
Yeah.
push you
start
in a
somewhere.
corner, Bosso, because I've been
Okay.
doing this recently.
Yes.
I know
Get this,
you
man.
love doing
I
it.
like well, I like doing that because I mean, one, I even like praise him for the like getting the podcast going, right? And we've been friends for a while, so I know every time I would text him and he wouldn't respond, I'm like, "Yo, B, well, I'm still gonna show up." But he finds a way to break through, and I think that's like the most important thing is like you can hear advice and things from people, but it's up to you to internalize it and to make sense of it in your own life experience. So that you have, and you're doing this episode number 2, massive deal. But I always like will like point little things out when you say. So in this case, when you said I want to get into sports, but I just don't have the portfolio for it. What I'm thinking in my head, right? I'm like, Max just went off about network, about who you know, and everything else. I'm like, wait, don't you know Max? Right? Like, but it's like a switch that goes off, right? Because it's like, oh, but if you really wanted to, then you would, because you have Max. I'm just saying.
Funny you say that though, because I've actually have tried to abuse my network a little bit. I was at the Rockets were actually hiring at one point, and I was considering just like, Max told me it's like you just apply, like you never know what happened.
Yeah.
I was like, I applied, just like say fuck it, like if I get it, I'll fucking go.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh,
obviously
remember that.
nothing came out of it, but like I'm always open to those opportunities,
Yeah.
and I try to take advantage of them because like I'm still trying to figure out where like the direction I want to go always. Just because I don't even know why. I like just like diving into different things and things I haven't done yet, and just like it's more of like a challenge to me.
We're gonna dissect that a bit. Yeah, well, I want to know, right? Because the whole idea of like directionality is, it's an interesting topic, right? The whole sense of like purpose, like what should I do? What should I spend most of my time in, right? Because you can go in very different directions. Why do you think? Are you looking for a direction, or is your direction omnidirectional?
I don't know. I guess it's like what Max was saying. It's like we're always looking for the next thing, right? And I don't like to just like close my doors to things that might be a thing, right? So I was like, oh, the Rockets are hiring. Like I would love to do sports. Like that'd be cool. Like let me apply. Like if that happens, it happens. It's more of like I don't know where I'm gonna end up yet because I'm still figuring it out every day. You know, like with growing my business, like I've only been doing it for a year now, so
Right.
I'm still figuring out the direction I really want to go in, and you know, I just don't want to close myself off to any opportunities that do arise. So I'm always like looking for things and applying the things, and I love the versatility of it too because I hate being stagnant doing the same thing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's nice because having the stability is great. Like I'm very blessed with what I have already.
Yeah.
But like I'm like never closing my doors to like maybe possible other opportunities that I might enjoy. So that was really it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what
Hey, I'll
direction
tell you
would
what.
you want to? Well, actually, go ahead, Max. Finish your thought.
sorry,
'Cause I'm
sorry.
gonna. Now I'm gonna
You're
take
good,
it to
you're
a
good.
different realm. So go ahead.
You guys are both too nice, and
No, you go, dude. No, you go. No, okay. But no, I'll tell you what. That's Anthony. Like, it may in your head seem like such a stressful place, and you're like, oh my gosh, like let me try this, let me try that, let me do this, like. But it's a great place to be in. You're free, dude. You're free. You can be creative as you want. You can make a podcast if you want. You can go, go shoot sports if you want. You can go shoot weddings if you want. Like, it's kind of crazy that, like, even kind of a lot of people in my industry sometimes are like, dang, like, ah, you know, we want to go try this, or we want to go film this, and like, we want to be freelance. And I'm like, and then some people in the freelance position are like, oh, I want a full-time job. We want to do this and that. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many positives on both sides that, like,
Bro.
it's hard to not take it for granted sometimes. You know what I mean? Because, like you said, what's next? Or imposter syndrome, right? Like, you've got it, dude. You've got the degree. You've got a brand. You've got the talent. And I already seen these new posts recently, and I'm like, I see you, dude. Like, I see what's cooking, and what's cooking,
cringe.
dude.
No, it's
No,
not. It's
dude.
cringe to you.
No,
it's not
it's
cringe
cringe to me. I know it's not cringe to everyone else, but it's cringe to me. I mean,
I feel the same way.
because it's something new. It's something new, right? So I'm just still not used to like seeing myself on camera, hearing myself on camera. So it's gonna be a little cringe for a
But
while.
luckily, your perception of yourself does not matter at
I
all.
know, and
It
we
doesn't
kind
matter.
of touched us on this last podcast, right? Like,
Yeah.
and this is really funny too because imposter syndrome came up on the last podcast too. It's like it's an internal thing, right? I see these things and the people watch, and I know the people watching it don't, but it's just like to me, it's like ugh. But like
what?
that's another reason for jumping into this, right? Like I felt like, maybe I should do like jump into a podcast and just get more comfortable with talking and seeing myself on camera and do it with my friends,
Yeah.
So that's why we're here
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. And guess what? Like, I could tell you're like a little uncomfortable, right? Like, not on the camera right now, but obviously, like, it's uncomfortable. You keep saying you're like, you feel cringe, you feel this, and I feel the same way. I never put myself in front of the camera, like, ever. So this is even uncomfortable for me a little bit, right? But I love it. But guess what? the thing that really helped me get to where I am today is constantly putting myself in uncomfortable situations. Constantly.
I love
Like
this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
like we had
I
it
love this
like
guy.
like like I had it pretty good in Florida. Like you said, like we just won the Super Bowl. I was offered a job by them after my internship. And I had all my buddies in Florida. I had you, Anthony, and like you know what I did? I left everything and I moved across the country, not knowing a single soul. I didn't know anybody out here. I was like, you know what? We're gonna go. We're gonna go do it. Because the last time I put myself in this situation, look where it got me. And I grew. And now I'm here today and I don't even want to go back. Even though I miss all my people. But I you know what I mean? I'm ready. I'm like ready, like what's next, So keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, Florida. For you don't know how, so Max grew up in Tampa,
Yeah,
so Florida was his home. But actually, it's funny because that's what I did when I went to school. I left New York. I was working at a gym, and I was just like, I'm tired of this. Like, I just wanted. I knew I wanted to do film. I'm like, my mom's like, oh, this school's this and that. Like my friend's son went there, and he's like doing like cool stuff in Iceland and stuff like that. After he graduated, it was only 2 years, and I didn't do well in community college or regular college, and Full Sail's completely different. And then literally 2 months later, I was moving down there. I quit my job, got in my car, moved down there, and it worked out great. I mean, I'm blessed, really. But yeah, it's like same thing. It's like being uncomfortable is like super important with everything when it comes to growth. Because if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. I feel so.
absolutely. Absolutely. And but look, on top of that, the most important thing is it's kind of contradictory, right? But like, or what's the word? It's kind of ironic because as much as you need to be uncomfortable, you need to at least applaud yourself a little bit and smell the roses and just look around you and see what you have built. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So keep that in mind.
I think a lot of us creatives actually struggle with that so much because like we're
I
so
think
focused
people
on.
struggle for it.
Yeah, that's true. But I see
Absolutely.
it a lot. I see it because the people I'm surrounded by are all creatives. But I think us a lot. Like we pound ourselves over the head. Like, oh, we could be doing more. We could be doing better. But it's like you just did all that. Like, take
Yeah.
a second, take it in,
Okay.
and
I
keep
actually got a
moving.
good way to connect all this. Max,
Hamza's,
have
Hamza's
you?
about to go off.
I am.
Dude, this
I
guy's
am.
like he's a philosopher. This guy.
So
Don't you
no.
just wish you could just eat treats all day and be this thing right here?
Well,
Hey,
yeah, I'd be
seriously,
much better than
good.
being tormented by like these whole like existential ideas. But the reason why I'm interested in like a lot of these topics are because so much of this is it's yes like raw skill that you have, right? But your progression through anything in life is also very spiritual in the sense that you're entering a part in your life uniquely from your perspective, right? So it will be different, right? The things you hear or the opportunities you take and the time that you take them is about when you hear that information and where you are in life when you hear that, and then how long it takes for you to actually take the steps to get to that point. See, that was so crazy. I think I forgot what I was first going to say. Hold on. Rewind. Okay, I remember now. So back to being able to have that drive while at the same time stopping to smell the roses, right? Max, I have a feeling like you've figured out how to do both those things, and part of me thinks it has to do with your experience with Make-A-Wish.
Honest, yes, yes. And look, that working with them has put a huge perspective in me. Like it's it's so sad sometimes, but it's so also motivating and triumphant because the mission of them is basically like when life feels like it's like horrible and like life needs to get better, like small things here and there, such as like your family, your people here around you, or one little thing that gives you a little boost, like a little getaway, right?
Yeah.
Like not only has provenly scientifically cured these people, but like also just like helped give them that extra boost of strength to do better. as a person, or to do better as in your health. Like it's crazy, but the thing that helps me a lot is who I surround myself with. Like like being with checking in with Anthony and doing this. Like I've got my girlfriend. I've got the little dog I just showed you guys. Like taking a second to enjoy the stuff that you work hard for, like the roof over our heads, and the new cameras we got. Like you know, go take a second and do that just to create something for free and something for fun and just I don't know. I'm kind of rambling, but
No, I mean, I totally get it. I think like the
I
big
think that's
point
what
too.
helps me. Yeah,
It does. I think that helps a lot of people though, because I'll say like until I
yeah,
came across like death personally, I didn't know what it meant to like stop and smell the roses, right? Like you can't really
yeah.
appreciate what is until you
Mhm.
realize how none of it really matters, right? Or like the idea of, okay, like I have this whole distant future planned out in my head, 20 years, this is what I want. I need to work hard. Like I'm not going to stop till I get there. And then
Mhm.
sometimes you'll finally get the reminder, oh wait, hold on, I might not have that 20 years that I'm thinking, or the
Yeah.
people might not still be there with me. But point being is like
Mhm.
knowing in the grand scheme of things that nothing matters is oddly enough, like
Yeah.
paradoxically, it helps you appreciate everything even
Right.
more.
And it's crazy. Like with Make a Wish, these stories are just like inspiring. And when you're interviewing these families who go through the different things, you're like, whoa, I really take this for granted sometimes. Like,
Mm.
oh my goodness, like we're very fortunate. Some people, I know many people who are going through things and stuff like that. But one week I'm filming a project, and this sweet kid is being granted a wish with Disney, and he's Disney sent him a Mandalorian helmet with Disney, and he's wearing his Boba Fett worn and signed helmet. And the next week, this sweet kid, he can't move, he can't talk, and he can't open his eyes. And he basically he just can't do anything. But his life and his happiness is his family's voice and music.
Mm.
And like he just loves it. And I don't mean to like get all sad and stuff like that, but I'm like filming these people and I'm like, whoa, like this is so powerful. And to loop all this together, we are doing one of the most important things in this world, and it's telling stories. And you know, and no matter what capacity, the story we're telling now on this podcast, the story we're telling through Make a Wish, the story we're telling through the small business down the street, it all matters to these people and the networks. And it's 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 the most important and powerful tool in the world today, I think, in our generation. Like, look at TikTok.
I, I would be crying if I was you, bro. I don't. Do you cry when you're shooting this stuff? Because I cry at weddings when they're giving a speech. I
Uh,
couldn't even imagine being in that situation.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's. I think I get a little more emotional when I'm editing, when I'm at home and I'm alone. But when I'm there, it's not sad. These families aren't depressed. Like they're more like taking each day at a time, and they're so proud of where the progress that they've gotten. Like,
Mhm.
you know, some of the majority of the families I do interview, I don't really interview them during their hardships. It's kind of when they really like made it through. But the other half, you know, they've got, a couple years to live or a couple months to live, right? And like those families have always had a smile on their face because like they really soak it in and they treat every day like it's a new day, and they don't like think about what's in 10 days or what's in 10 years, and they don't look at and mope around and look at what happened to them 10 days ago and 10 years ago. They really just live here now.
I just thought of
And
a video idea. Yeah, the way you explained it, it's so backward to how we live, right? But imagine like
exactly.
you followed a kid who has everything in life, and one thing gets taken away from him, and we do this too. I'm guilty for it. Where if an
Yeah,
inconvenience
yeah.
comes in life, it shatters us. But if you almost did a match cut, 'cause I'm a sucker for match cuts, but a match cut sequence of like someone losing something like not small, right? But like something that us as normal people would resonate with and say, "Ooh, wow, that sucks," and then you directly cut to a child who got even worse news, but still has like him and his family still have a smile on their face. Like I think having that shock initially, like having a scene where everyone can relate, oh, this is the problem that most of us go through, and then boom, you see someone else going through a worse
Right.
problem, but they're smiling. I think that could be a pretty powerful message. Since
I
we're
agree.
filmmakers here, just like an
Dude,
idea that popped in.
I agree. I agree. We really should make something.
Yeah,
Sorry.
definitely, we should do that. But I will definitely give Hamza the credit too. Like, he is really good at telling stories for someone who's really new to this too. Because a lot of people like don't even think that way, and you always have. I think I actually living a little better than myself, but I give you a lot of credit for that. No, I mean, it's not a bad thing. Like, I think anything like there's always something I can learn from you and vice versa, right?
Right.
And like that's why these conversations are a thing, right? Um,
No,
so yeah, I
100%.
just I just think you're a sick storyteller when it comes to
I
your
appreciate that,
content,
man.
and then we actually talked about doing like you wanted to do a short film on the last podcast as a possible
Yeah,
future project.
yeah.
So
So
maybe that's something we gotta get Max here for.
maybe.
Dude, hey, I want to be a part of this in any way possible, dude. I've been a day one, Anthony. I want to. I'm first of all even honored to make this happen, and I see so much potential. Like I want to bring up so many different topics, and I'm like not wanting to go off topic so much, but
I know,
dude,
it's actually crazy. That idea. I mean, I think it's going to be something that people are going to help me with. For context, it's my dad passed away 2.5 years ago,
oh man,
and so one of the things that I've sat with since that moment is there was the way the week had panned out. We never. I was really close with him, but we never got to really close off a lot of conversations. So I've always had this need to like have that last conversation or like almost like a letter. And
hmm
so when I thought about it, I said, okay, maybe this video is going to be that letter that I finally get to like say to him. The
yeah,
only, not only issue, the thing is it's so emotionally heavy that anytime I open that Pandora's box, it's like, okay, I really have to go into that in order to get the great ideas. But then, life happens and it's really hard to shake out of it sometimes. So I think with the comfort of friends and people who can also say, you know what, like, let's actually push for this, it's going to become easier to do that. But that's the project.
bless you, brother, and that's great that you're talking about it. You know, it's important, I think, and create and coping and creating like that, like as much as it seems like such a deep dark place, like creative juices are flowing, right? Like it's just
Oh, yeah,
you could
100%.
take full advantage of it, and
Yeah,
special.
without a doubt. And
Yeah, man.
it's a nice message for other people too. I think that's the biggest thing with the work that we do is if you can find something you connect with, but I can also see how it connects with someone
Yeah,
else or how it could benefit, how a story could benefit for someone else. I think that's
yeah,
like the perfect concoction of
yeah.
a project that you'll probably do well in.
Right. And on the topic of story, like I think a lot of creatives strive so hard to bring like a new like editing style or effect or like trend. And when you
Hmm.
really look at it, the things that really resonate and are remembered and that really work, I feel like, is the story itself.
Oh,
Back to
how
the
dope.
basics, dude. Back to the basics. You like watch a Wes Anderson film and he's doing the basics. He is keeping the camera still, locked off, telling a story. Nothing crazy, right? I mean, obviously those sets are insane, right? But like, I'm saying like storytelling and resonating with your audience is
Hmm.
important and bringing something to the table, like being relatable, being like we almost like want to take and get likes and get followers and this and that. But what really you should be doing in the mindset that really helps is giving to them. Like
Yeah.
it's a give and take thing, and like the story is a great way to give to people. I think to help them understand you and perspectives and look at life a different way.
Oh, without a doubt. I think it's probably one of the hardest things to do is to learn how to get into the storyteller's mind, like
It
frame of
is.
reference. Because you really need to be in a state of openness and empathy. That's the biggest thing, right? You can't be clouded by what your place in this world is really. You just have to be in like a weird like state of being connected with people.
Sorry.
So like for example, like right now, you're with people who you can converse openly with. I'm sure if you guys right after this sat down, like come with a few ideas, you'd probably have some really good stories to tell. So I think it's learning how to really get ourselves into that headspace.
Sorry, I muted myself, boys, for a second.
No, you're good. You're good.
That the little Morky's on X Games mode right now. She's excited. Oh my gosh. But yeah, dude, it's like this is special. Like I'm excited for you, Anthony. Like I'm proud and happy that every time I like check in with you and I see you, you're bringing something new to the table. You're trying something new. You're trying to grow.
Yeah, I mean, again, like the reason why I'm doing this podcast is to really like talk with cool people like yourself.
Thank you, bro.
And I'm gonna have to have you on another podcast first off because we didn't get to talk too much about the Rockets.
Yeah, I know, right? I can't believe that.
But it's cool because you never know where this is gonna go, and like I didn't want to like plan it out too much where it feels like we're interviewing each other. You know what I mean? Like I want it to be very, very flow. And but yeah, the reason why I'm doing this is to talk with the cool people I know, put us all out there, like where everyone can see what we're doing, and then also hopefully they feel motivated to take the dive into whatever they want to do, whether it's being a creative or just going from the basic 9 to 5 to freelancing or vice versa. Like it just here to let people know that we've been through it, how we've gotten through it, and like what it's done for us essentially. And yeah, I feel like not many people talk about that stuff, so I'm just glad you were able to join.
Dude, I would absolutely, of course, absolutely. And I'm glad you had me on, dude. Like, I'm not even just saying this, it means a lot. I'm honored, first of all, that you chose me for this and you look at me like that, and like it just means a lot, bro. And like it's so exciting to see. I even said this the last time we were probably even together. Like it's just exciting to see where we are today and what we've created with what we've experienced together, dude. But you're such a homie, bro, and I can't wait like for more of it. And I can't wait to see this because
yeah, no, I know. I can't wait to see where this goes.
I can't wait.
I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just doing
bro.
it, you know.
Look, I'll tell you what. Even when I said earlier, like that thing where I was like, that post that helped me, like that I blew up on, like I did not expect it. First of all, I could feel it. I could feel it coming. But the moment I gave out, like even some simple information, as many of us think that it's so simple, right? But it's so valuable to other people in different stages in their career, and it helps them. And the amount of love it got, it was like unbelievable. I was like taken away. I was like, whoa. I was like, I think I just found myself and found my social self on here. Like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to bring to the table, and I want to help people. Like every time people message me, I'm like, oh yes, I would love to have a call. I would love to have a podcast. I would love to give back in any way possible because people gave to us, you know? So I think that's been the right way to do it. And I think you're doing what you're doing right now is the right path.
Yeah, I mean, I've always looked up to you in ways too, like, because I feel, I don't know, like, even though we don't talk often, like we're able to come back here and like act like we've been, like we saw each other last week.
Absolutely, bro.
You're super humble. You're like willing to share anything and everything and help anyone, and like that's what I want to share with everyone else. So like you fit this perfectly, and like I wouldn't want anyone else for my second podcast.
Thank you, bro.
But yeah, man, I'm just happy, and yeah, like big on the content thing. Like you need to do more of it, dude. Like I say this because I know I need to do more of it because we have a lot of knowledge to give. Whether we think it's not, there's always someone we could help.
Yes.
Yeah, just thank you for joining, bro. I know you're busy with all this stuff and in a different time zone. I'm just excited for the next time you come visit now because you get to meet Hamza hopefully in person.
Yeah, dude. He was amazing.
He's dude, super cool dude, and like he's just like us, just wants to help. But yeah, I'm just glad you were able to join, dude, and this means a lot for me. You know.
Of course, brother. I'm so proud of you. I could give you the biggest dap right now of all time. But dude, I'm excited.
However that works, but,
right?
Yeah. But yeah, man, thank you again. We'll talk soon. All right?
Of course, brother. Absolutely. Thank you again.
Quick, plug yourself. Where can people follow you?
Thank you everyone for the support. And you can follow me at MDX Focus. Brother, thank you
dude.
so much. I'm so freaking happy and proud of you for this. Like, this is so exciting.
Thank you, dude.
Of
Get
course,
back
brother.
to work, all right?
Thank you, brother. You too. You too.
I'll talk to you soon.